Well, good morning. Today's subject is a slightly different one. I've had a lot of people writing to me and a lot of comments from people that are telling me about the time when they gave up art. And it's been quite a shocking period of time. So many people have told me their story of I stopped art because, well, I stopped drawing and painting at this time. And I would really love to hear what your story is. So today we're going to talk about the importance of zero, the importance of that time when things stop. Let's have a chat. Well, thank you very much for all the comments, all the comments, the emails, the messages of all sorts, and of course donations. Thank you very much. You're all greatly appreciated. So one of the things that has come across to my kind of knowledge was this point for a lot of people where they stopped art. And I'm really shocked by how many people have stopped, not because they wanted to, but because of, when they were at school, their art teacher told them that they were rubbish, or they said that they would never have a career in art, or some relative that had kind of said that they kind of drew like a donkey or something, some maybe nasty comment that stuck with them and thought, well, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I would never, maybe, and I would really love to hear from you. I would really love to know why you particularly stopped art, why you stopped doing your wonderful paintings or your drawings or whatever it was at the time, your craft. And craft is also under the bracket of art. Maybe you made kids' toys or something at one point. Maybe you made teddy bears or what stopped you? Is it somebody's point of view? Was it someone's comments? Was it some bullying? Was it some nastiness? What happened? I really would love to know. I would love to hear your story. Um, it might be a simple thing of, you know, getting married and having kids and kind of mentally you feel like you have to grow up or something. I don't know. I know that for me when I had kids it was definitely a serious kind of stage in my life where it's like, oh my god, well, now my artwork has to get really good if I'm going to have to support kids and stuff like that. It is a huge worry for anybody in that kind of creative environment. Um, or did you just kind of get to a stage where you felt that you got no love for your creation, no love for your endeavors, your hard work, that it was never really supported? And that's another element of being an artist, is that point of support. Most of us don't get any support. And that makes it in some cases even more difficult, because you do kind of get to that stage of like, am I kind of deluding myself? Am I in some kind of dream world? Am I going to be a failure for all my life? you know, and with the embarrassment of the family looking at me, and all those type of things as well. It's really a very, very stressful time, I know, for a lot of artists. Is it that kind of point of having nothing, having no love, having no support? Was that part of what turned you away from it? I know that, you know, I've had multiple times where I've kind of got to the stage of thinking, what is the point? And some of them quite recent. You know, you're kind of you're doing all this work, and there's, you know, you kind of, in your mind, you kind of expect different things, and reality is very different. Reality can be a real kick in the balls sometimes. Reality can be a very, very nasty part of life. But what was it? Tell me. I'd love to know. I really would love to hear. The other side of that kind of moment of hitting zero, hitting nothing from nowhere, from nothing, from every direction of family and support and friends and people online, and that kind of moment can also be a recovery part. It can be that whole point when you finally crash to the ground on fire and burning, and you know, it sometimes is a call to take a break, step back. So don't always take it as it's time to finish. It's the end. It's not. Sometimes that, you know, the importance of zero is that point where you rest, and that down is a very important time. That zero point is where you take stock, you look around, you analyze it from a realistic point of view, and the only way to do that is to give it a few days. You know, go and visit a friend somewhere or something, so you're away from your drawing environment. And that point is about a little bit of reflection onto what is going on with your life, what is going on with your art, what is going on with the direction of your art. You know, for me, I've been in this art business, as it's quite often called, and even to hear that makes me kind of go, ooh, the business, the art business. You know, it really is. It's a way of life. It's not, you know, and that's where the reality comes in. The reality is you need to look at it as a business sometimes. You know, all the time that I'm drawing in front of a camera and doing my dream books and my dream life, I'm not maintaining the shop. And you know, to be very honest, I got one sale in like the last 3 months. Thank you, Sonia, if you're out there. Thank you, Sonia, very much. And it's not because the work is bad, or it's basically because I haven't really been monitoring it. I haven't been sitting on top of it like a guy in a shop would. Yeah. I have been concentrating on making the videos and getting the channel to a pleasing stage, and it's very difficult balancing that very tender thing about doing the videos and getting some kind of getting the world to look at what I'm doing, and then doing the actual work, doing the illustrations, doing the books, writing the books, illustrating the books, promoting the books, getting the books formatted and uploaded, and all of that mass amount of time, and then taking some of the drawings and then making them into prints, making them into phone covers, making them into the business side. You know, we recently did a video that we only have 24 hours, and that's the crunch. Should I be doing a video today, or should I be doing phone covers? You know, what do I do? And since they haven't really got to a stage where cloning is legal, I'm stuck with me and Mr. Miro, of course. Mr. Miro is amazing. Mr. Miro is my support. So, you know, I have actually recently started to put up my PayPal channel, my PayPal account, so that, you know, people that really are interested in the art would maybe give me some kind of tip jar, as I originally called it, a tip jar. And you can kind of give me some kind of tip, some kind of, like if I was a busking guitar player in the street or something, you know, you kind of throw a couple of pennies down. And that was another way of trying to balance this. But if you are going through something now, if you're going through some real challenges, find that importance of zero. Find that point to reflect on where you are, what situation you're in. All that things were all the input from your family and your friends and comments online and everything together. And your own brain talking is another dangerous subject, you know. What is your own mind thinking? What is happening there? You know, it's like, and rest. That importance of that zero is a time to also rest. You know, because sometimes when you rest, you do actually look, and you know, this is one of my sister's comments. It's kind of like, yeah, but look how far you've come. And sometimes that's very difficult to hear, you know. It's like, it's a very difficult thing to hear when people are saying lovely, nice things of you when you're crumbling and falling apart, you know. It's like, but it is true. Sometimes you need to look at, you know, where was I 3 years ago? Where was I 5 years ago? You know, 6 years ago I was in a hospital dying, and now I've set up a channel, and I've done something like 10 books in the last 3 years. There's a lot to be very grateful for, and sometimes when you're in it, it's very difficult to see it, you know. And you know, I've got some friends online that are absolutely brilliant artists, and I know that everybody is kind of struggling at this point. So it's quite it's horrible to say it's common, but it is a very common thing within the art world for sure. But don't give up. Sit down and reevaluate your life. Reevaluate how you feel about everything as well. I did seriously sit down and think, has the modern day caught up too much? Has the modern times become too stressful for me? You know, um, this whole thing of like this social media bomb. It's like you have to be online and you have to have products and you have to be posting at this stage and it's all too much. It's all really too much at some point. And I know that you're constantly seeing, well, that guy has posted 10 videos this week. I only posted 2. It's this whole kind of keeping up with the Joneses type of thing as well. It's like, and our art never really was like that. Art was always like, oh, I see Jim did a new video. Oh, cool. Or not video, but painting, It's like, Jim's got a new painting out. That's amazing. Maybe he's getting a bit too good. Maybe I have to up my quality or up my, And I always kind of see that, like, art when I first started working in studios and stuff like that was a very magical competition between people. It was a very beautiful thing, Like even when I was at Disney, I remember, like, when people had done their animation, and you would have to go to this machine, this kind of camera that would do a line test, and the line test was shooting each individual drawing and then running it as a short film. Now you can do it on your telephone, But back then it was a very big thing. It was kind of like you would take your drawings and go, "Have you got any time to, shoot all my drawings?" And it was very cagey, and you would see people going, "Oh, hey, have you seen that? John's up there doing his new test. Has he? Is it any good? Haven't seen it yet, but I'm going down to make a coffee so I can walk past." It was all very kind of cute and sweet and competitive. Very, 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 very competitive. And that's all kind of gone now. It's like, what I've kind of find is that by the time I've posted up my, if I post up a video, the first thing you'll do is you'll go back to check that everything's okay. So you go back and see your little 30 seconds video, your 1 minute video, and you go back and check, yep, it's okay, title's okay, yep, no spelling mistakes, okay, yep, great. But these days, it's you post up your video and then you go to find it, and it's a challenge to find it, because there's thousands and thousands of videos being posted every minute, and it's getting to a stage where it's got quite ridiculous that, my cat just farted, right, I'm going to do a video of it. My next door neighbor has had a fight about his car, I'm going to do a video of it. It's my uncle's sister's birthday, right? I'm going to do a video of it, and everything is being posted up online. So it's very difficult to even see what a lot of people are posting, because it's all so rapid. And maybe that's also part of this kind of crash for people. Keeping up with people is exhausting. And I try not to really look too much about what other people are doing, because it will destroy you. It will. Trust me, it will get to a point where you'll be constantly looking and saying, "Oh, what's Kieron done? Oh no, he's done a video on sugar. Oh, I need to do one on honey." Oh, God, don't do that. I'm talking today about the importance of zero, the importance of taking a break. But also, I'm really curious to know When did everything get too much for people? When did they stop? Why did they stop? And I'm really, really interested in it. I've had so many people saying, oh, I haven't drawn since I was 15. I used to be quite good at it. What stopped you? My old Uncle Gerald or whatever, he told me one day, blah, 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 blah. And, sometimes it's unintentional. Sometimes your mum will say something and they don't mean it in a hurtful way, but you hear it in a hurtful way. And that kind of goes along with it. A lot of comments, sometimes if someone sends me a comment online and I'll read it and I go, what? Why? What? Have I offended somebody? What? And they didn't mean it the way I read it, They might have meant it like, whatever, but very difficult to kind of give an example. But sometimes we read comments from other people, and they are very hurtful, although they're not meant to be hurtful. I remember, one of the things I do remember was, because I was, I used to live in China. When I first set up my social media, one of my email accounts was a Chinese brand, and I had got some woman who had got it in her head that I was some kind of scammer of some sort, and obviously then when I started to actually post up products, she had it in her mind that she should alert the whole of the the whole of the Western planet that this evil man with the top hat had come to, which was all total rubbish. She had just kind of seen the Chinese what's that, WeChat. It was on a WeChat thing. Now WeChat is used quite frequently with people that are not even Chinese. It's become a platform. It's become a social media, but at the time WeChat was quite a Chinese brand, a Chinese spy, or whatever. It's like quite comical, but also quite hurtful, because a lot of people were like, "Oh, thanks for telling me, thanks for warning me about this guy." And I was like, I make cartoons, for God's sake, So let me know if you're going through a bit of a hard time. I really, I'm doing this channel as hopefully as a inspiration for people to keep their art, to love their life, to love the art that they create. I'm hoping that it will be in the future, that it will be a channel where people go for inspiration. They will go for that little pickup. That guy loves his art so much. I'm gonna go and draw something, and that is the response that I want. I want somebody to say, "I watched your channel and I went to do some drawing." Drying up some ink there. And I do want to be a supportive channel. I want to be inspiration for a lot of artists. I want some kind of You know, I love what I do. I love my job. And some days it does drive me mad. Some days I also need that kind of the importance of zero. I do need that importance. I do need that time to sit down and take a deep breath, and you know, especially now in this kind of modern world where we're all being flooded by things like AI, and you know, and I'm not worried about AI at all. I do, you know, I do think that human art has still got that love in it. And yes, it might be able to draw a unicorn in the rainbow faster than me, and probably it would attract a lot more people because it's analyzing things in the way that what is appealing to people. Whereas as artists, we draw from a very different place. We draw from feeling, you know. We are painting and we are feeling what we are painting or drawing, or we feel it. As I do with my stories, I feel the story. The stories are extremely important to me. And you know, and in some small way, that if you don't like my stories, yes, it is hurtful. It does kind of break my heart. Yes, it does. But at the same time, I also have to be strong enough to say, well, you know, oranges are your favorite fruit, and I prefer banana. You know, it's kind of we need to be able to step back. We need to be able to. And my next drawing that I have to do today is actually about this kind of mental health state of Norman, and I'm finding it a little bit difficult to know how to really draw it. What was the title of the drawing? The Tortured Soul. Tortured Soul will be done later on this afternoon. And the Tortured Soul is, you know, it runs on from the same feeling, because that's, you know, it's obviously something that Norman is kind of going through, this kind of mental stress. He's going through this part of his life where he's feeling like, oh, I just dropped it onto the grey. He is kind of going through this stage of being a tortured soul. As in this drawing is a ghost that comes to take his heart. Is she taking his heart, or is she taking his heart? You know, and this was something that was very important for me to get right. Very, very, very important to feel right. To get that emotion right. And that is today's drawing. This was drawn in the first ever book, I believe. The first ever book was A Head Full of Bees, and the first ever book, I believe, in that book, this drawing was done originally in that book, and I felt like it needed to be brought into a new version to fit in with the style of book 2. So yes, you might have seen this drawing if you've bought some of the earlier Worry Lips books, and I hope you have. Why haven't you if you haven't? Go along and buy some. Your purchases of my books are greatly supportive. That is my biggest kind of support comes from my books. So that is a beautiful drawing for you today. And please, if you are at that important stage of zero, if you've hit zero, if the world has indeed crashed around you, if you are struggling, and if you're wondering, should I ever draw again in my life? Tell me your story. If you've been bullied in the past and you no longer draw, I would love to hear from you. I would love to know what happened. I'm very interested to know your story. Your story. What happened to you? And hopefully this video will inspire you to find it. Doesn't matter if you're zero crash, if you've hit that zero, remember that the importance of zero is a reflection of rest, time to recharge, time to rethink, time to restructure maybe. And maybe, just maybe, this video will inspire you to pick up your paintbrush, pick up your pen, pick up your pencil, pick up a notebook and just do some doodling. And if this video does inspire you to start again, to recapture that love of art, then remember that you are already at zero. And because you are at zero, you are at the lowest point, you can only go up. You can only grow. And the more that you do it and the more that you love it, the more that you will grow. So if you're at that stage and you're starting from zero, welcome. And if there's anything that I can do to help, if there's any drawing questions that you've got, throw them on. Don't be shy about sending me some comments. If you need some support, if you need to know how to draw anything or help you in any way, if I can help, I'm very happy to. Okay? So, go and draw something. Go and paint something. Okay? And I really look forward to hearing from you. And I wish you all an absolute beautiful day. It looks like Norman's going to have a little bit of a tough day, but please have a beautiful day. I would love to hear from you, and I'll see you back here again very, very soon. Bye-bye.